Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, depending on where you are at the moment. And welcome to the webinar on Introduction of Collaborative Research, Development, and Demonstration. My name is Tenten. I'm the Network Engagement Specialist at the CTCN, and I'm pleased to be moderating this afternoon's sessions of the webinar on behalf of the CTCN Secretariat. We are also very delighted to have such a diverse group of participants with us, including some of the national designated entities and CTCN network members. We also have the team from NIGT, who is providing the technical support for today's webinar. Today, we have the following agenda. We will start with welcome remarks from the CTCN director, followed by insights from the UNFCCC Secretariat. Then my CTCN colleagues will introduce our approach to collaborative RD&D, and you will also hear some regional examples presented by our technical assistance colleagues. We'll wrap up the webinar with a Q&A session and closing remarks from the CTCN Advisory Board Chair. But before we dive into the agenda, I just have also a few practical details to share. So as I mentioned, we will have a dedicated Q&A session toward the end of the event where you will be able to ask your questions. So you are welcome to save your questions for that session where you will be asked to ask anything live. However, you of course are welcome to also use the Q&A button where you can just drop your questions ahead, and we will then review and address them during the live Q&A. You're welcome to also address the questions specifically to some of the speakers. And then one more thing, we also have the options, as we have different regions scattered here. You have the options to turn on live captions and translation subtitles. If you, on the top of the menu, you see the button More, and there you can go to Language and Speech and click on Show Live Captions, and then a setting wheel button will appear on the bottom, which you can opt for, and then you can turn on the language you would like the webinar to be translated to, as we will conduct the full webinar in English. But with that, let's get started. It's my pleasure to hand over to Ariesta Ningrum, our director of the CTCN, for her welcome remarks.
Thank you very much, Tantan, and good morning, good afternoon, and perhaps good evening to our distinguished participants joining us from around the world. On behalf of the Climate Technology Center and Network, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to this webinar on collaborative research development and demonstration, or collaborative RD&D. Today's sessions brings together experts, innovators, and policymakers united by a shared goal, which is to accelerate climate technology solutions through cooperations and knowledge exchange. The concept of collaborative RD&D at CTCN encompasses a range of activities: research, development, demonstrations of climate technologies carried out through mutually beneficial collaboration within technology providers and technology users. At its core, it aims to strengthen the national system of innovation and build the endogenous capacity of developing countries. Our main objective through cRD&D is to systematically support developing countries in responding to climate change while promoting sustainable technology development and transfer. We do this by encouraging cooperation among stakeholders, governments, research institutions, private sector, communities, to ensure that knowledge and technology flow both ways. This approach supports not only the transfer and demonstration of technologies, but also sharing the expertise and the creation of locally adapted solutions that last long. The idea of collaborative RD&D itself is not new. Since 2007, the UNFCCC has recognized it as a powerful tool to innovation, and the technology framework adopted by parties in 2018 reaffirmed its importance in enabling developing countries to participate more effectively in global innovation system. In the CTCN's third program of work, the National System of Innovation was identified as one of the two key enablers for system transformation, emphasizing that effective climate technology deployment must be underpinned by collaborative research and innovations. Since 2022, our Partnership and Liaison Office in Songdo has served as a center of excellence for collaborative RD&D, initially focusing in the Asia and Pacific region. Through joint projects, workshops, and capacity building initiatives, we have piloted the new forms of cooperation that bring together national expertise and international partners. Over the past 2 years, we have seen encouraging results. For example, through our technical assistance RD&D projects, CTCN has supported the development of ocean energy in Papua New Guinea and solar-powered cold storage system in Bangladesh. We will also support biochar production in Cote d'Ivoire and innovative desalination technologies in Uzbekistan. We also have convened learning visits and workshops on green hydrogen and energy storage, helping countries explore pathways to cleaner and more resilient energy futures. These experiences show that when we invest in collaboration, we multiply our impact. Each project becomes not only a demonstration of technology, but also a platform for shared learning, for building trust, and for fostering innovation that will continue long after a project has been completed. So today's webinar marks another important step in expanding the scope of collaborative RD&D globally. I hope our discussions will inspire new partnership, new collaboration, and ideas that can translate ambition into action, action that support national priorities and strengthen local innovation system, and accelerate the transition to low carbon and climate resilient world. I thank you again for joining us, and I wish you engaging and productive discussions. Thank you, and back to you, Tantan.
Thank you, Ariesta. We'll now hear from Ms. Bava Dungana from the UNFCCC Secretariat, who will share the perspective of the Technology Executive Committee and their work on collaborative RD&D. The floor is yours, Bava.
Great, thank you, and a warm welcome to all the participants here today. Maybe before going into the presentation, I just give a quick, very quick summary on the Technology Executive Committee. So the Technology Executive Committee is made up of experts nominated by parties from both developed and developing countries. They are providing the policy recommendations based on their various work and analysis, looking at various good practices and experiences of different countries. And here today I will discuss a little bit on the work that they've been doing on collaborative RD&D. Next slide, please. So the tech has a rolling work program which has gone from 2023 and will go until 2025. It has 4 different work streams, and the first work stream is on national systems of innovation, collaborative RD&D, and general purpose technologies. The expectation from this work stream, the outcome of this is to enable policies to incentivize and nurture a supportive environment for technological innovation and innovative climate solutions, which is enabled by general purpose technologies, including strengthening of national systems of innovation and participation of developing countries in cooperative innovative RD&D. So under this work stream, there's a specific activity on this, which is the activity to analyze the needs for RD&D for high impact emission reduction technologies to help countries implement their nationally determined contributions or NDCs and other mitigation strategies and ensure long-term environmentally sustainable energy supply. And in order to do that, the tech conducted a survey looking at the future of RD&D needs. And based on that survey, it has initiated work on the RD&D on energy storage, and it will be developing a knowledge product, including key policy recommendations by 2027. So next slide, please. Now, to just give you a brief overview on the survey on the future needs of RD&D that the tech had conducted, this was actually done. It was a global survey, as you can see from the graphics here that we have presented. We got feedback from all continents, which included 59 countries. Based on the feedback that was received, a lot of it was from Europe, but also a large number of countries from Africa, Asia, as well as South and North America also provided their input. The feedback from participants included those in the public sector, industry, research, NGOs, startups, finance and investors, private sectors, and also from media as well. Next slide, please. So just focusing on some of the results that came out of this, we did ask what were some of the roadblocks and also priority areas that countries saw. And here what you can see is that energy storage, industrial processes, clean electricity generation, zero carbon fuels, carbon capture utilization and storage, CCUS, and carbon dioxide removal, CDR, were some of the needs that were given. And then when we look further at it from both a developed and developing country perspectives, we see that energy storage, energy systems integration, and resilient energy systems and energy transport and transmission were key important topics for both from a developing and developed country perspective. Then just look, sorry, if you could just go back to the slide. Then just looking at some of the roadblocks, what we saw were legislation, political support, and bureaucracy, and certain demand as some of the challenges and roadblocks that they saw. Next slide, please. Then based on all of that, as I mentioned earlier, the tech is going to conduct a policy analysis and they will develop a policy brief, which is titled Accelerating the Deployment of Energy Storage to Advance Clean Energy Transition. And this analysis will directly look at the critical role of energy storage and renewable energy integration. What are some of the technological solutions and case studies? What are the enabling policies for its adoption? And an analysis of energy storage in the NDCs and other policy frameworks. And lastly, they will develop some key messages and policy recommendations from this. So this analysis will be completed in 2027. Prior to that, the tech will be conducting some data gathering and reaching out, and the tech is actually planning a webinar on this topic early next year, so we would love for your engagement and participation in that webinar as well. Now to my last slide. Then here, just to give some feedback on what it's going to look at specifically in energy storage, it splits both energy storage technologies by duration and application. So in terms of duration, we would look at a short duration, medium duration, and long duration. Short being from anywhere from half an hour to 4 hours, which supports daily renewable energy integration. Medium duration, 4 to 10 hours, looking at the balance of grid operation over longer timeframes, and long duration storage, which enables seasonal energy storage and off-grid resilience, and also looking at the applications for the various storage aspects as is listed on the screen in there. So this concludes my presentation, and we do look forward to your engagement in future webinars that the tech would be organizing on this topic, and also any feedback you would have here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Baba. Now we will move to the CTCN perspective, and our colleague Sul Kang will introduce our approach and current initiatives under the collaborative RD&D. So over to you, Sul.
Thank you, Tantan. Hi, everyone. I'm Soil, working at the Partnership and Liaison Office based in Songdo, Incheon, Republic, Korea. And even though it is midnight here, I'll do my best to share cRD&D activities led by Palo and also CTCN, cRD&D strategic framework. Okay, for the first part, I will introduce for recent 3 years activities. This slide shows the background of the collaborative approaches in RD&D, cRD&D. So as you can see at the second bullet point, paragraph 5, Article 10 of Paris Agreement, also mentioning the importance of the collaborative approaches to research and development. And also in the innovation theme under the technology framework, also highlight that fostering innovation could be done through new collaborative approaches to climate technology research, development, and demonstration. And as Ariesta mentioned, the Partnership and Liaison Office was established on 21st July 2022, and Palur serves as a center of excellence for cRD&D since the establishment. And in 2022 November, the Palo developed also the concept note on cRD&D. And I'll introduce later the cRD&D strategic framework for CTCN from 2025 to 2030 in the later part, which is approved in April this year. This slide shows the concept of collaborative approach in RD&D. As you can see, like at the bottom, we can consider researchers, professors from academia, and also the research institute, public and private sector research institute as the actors for such joint RD&D. So in this case, we can mention this as a twinning arrangement. And also, like, we can consider ND from partnering countries as a bridging builder to connect or identify researchers from both sides. As you can see, like, like ideally, each country should have a R&D system or international RD&D system, because as you know, the the biggest challenge is to have funding system because RD&D needs lots of like grant or fund to purchase chemicals or equipment and also very expensive instruments. Okay, yeah, next slide, please. Okay, from now on, I'll introduce briefly activities in recent 3 years. In 2023, we organized 5 cRD&D global webinars for the 5 key transformation areas of CTCN. And you can see the target regions were selected based on the needs for those 5 key transform areas. And also you can see the post blog. You can get more information through those post blog. And next one, please. Yeah, next slide, please. Okay, one of the activity under the cRD&D is the learning visit. So like researchers or NDs come to Korea, especially like there are several government affiliated research institute. We call it KGRIs. So they collaborate in this learning is on green hydrogen production. For example, KIST and then KIEL, and also the hydrogen safety testing center was involved in that learning visit in 2024. Next slide, please. Also in 2025, we expand really the topic as the green hydrogen production and fuel cells. This time, KIST and then KRICT working with chemical technology. Also, East West Power Company were involved in this learning visit. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so second activity under the cRD&D is we organize cRD&D bridge building. So CRD to B2 workshop. So through this event, researchers from KGRIs can introduce their climate technology, and then also NDs have a chance to get many knowledges on that. And yeah, next slide, please. So in 2024, we invited 21 participants globally, and then also there is several bilateral meetings, and also even there was dialogue for the joint RD&D in green hydrogen production. Next slide, please. Okay, from 25 this year, we produced another practice in selecting target countries for invitation for learning visit and cRD to B2 workshop. Actually, this participation survey to NDs were conducted in January this year. So this slide shows all 3 modules for capacity building and network engagement and cRD&D program. So again, like in January 2026, we will also circulate such participation survey to NDs. So we expect more active engagement of the NDs for this one. As I mentioned, like module 3 is on cRD&D, and then you can see there is this webinar is number 1, and then there is cRD&D workshop on energy storage is the second one, and then the learning visit is a third program under the module 3. Yeah, next one, please. Yes. Oh, yeah. I'll explain more information in the next slide. Yeah. Thank you. Next slide, please. Okay. For example, like from the participation survey in Asia Pacific region, those countries responded to the survey, and then number 6 is like cRD&D workshop, and 7 is cRD2B2 workshop, and then number 8 is the learning visit. So you can see the responses from NDs in those countries. Yeah, and then also we considered like a green hydrogen technical assistance demand from countries. Then finally, we selected those bolded countries. Next one, please. Okay, this slide shows the survey result from Africa and NDs. Yeah. Also, we considered green hydrogen TA demand from those countries. And then we invited Gambia and then Zimbabwe based on the result. Next one, please. In the Lang region, also we get the responses, and then also consider the green hydrogen technical demand. And then finally, we invited Belize and then Panama from the Lang region. Next one, please. Okay, so based on those survey results, we organized cRD2B2 workshop in this year in August in Busan in conjunction with the World Climate Technology Expo. And this time we invited 6 participants, and then like especially the NDs, also researchers presented barriers, enablers, and collaboration for deployment of energy storage because the topic was energy storage. Next one, please. During the cRD2B2 workshop, also we organized TAG and CTCN cRD&D session on accelerating the deployment of energy storage. Yeah, next one, please. Okay, I'll move on to the third activity of piloting cRD&D technical assistance project. I mean, to identify the needs from Korean GRIs on the cRD&D technical assistance project, we established a steering group, which is composed of CTCN secretary and then 6 Korean GRIs as a member of the steering group to identify the needs for the collaborative RD&D. Yeah, next one, please. Yeah, we had 2 virtual meetings last year. Yeah, next one, please. Yeah, this slide shows the virtual meeting screen capture. Okay, next one, please. Also, yeah, so like through those steering group meetings, finally we identified 4 potential cRD&D TA project. we have two different tracks. First one is CTCN TA support for pre-feasibility for small-scale demonstration. So you can see two cases. First one is Papua New Guinea. It is on salinity gradient energy technology, and then electrochemical ocean thermal energy conversion. The Korea Institute of Energy Research here is the implementing partner, and then it'll be complete December this year, and budget size is almost 250,000 US dollar, and also second case is we are under development. I mean, actually, we will try to complete the contract for the project within this year in Uzbekistan. It is about groundwater desalination and resource recovery, the metals from the water. So the implementing partner is Kitech, is working with industrial technology. Yeah, next one, please. So second track under the cRD&D TA project is CTCN TA support for feasibility toward later RD&D activities. So in case of the Bangladesh, it was already submitted in CTCN, and then the Kitech is implementing partner for the solar PV based cold storage facility. So it will be implemented until February next year. And also the Cote d'Ivoire, it is about biochar production. The implementing partner is KIEL, the Energy Research Institute. And then also we are trying to complete the contract within this year. Yeah, next slide, please. Okay, so I'll also introduce the newly established cRD&D strategic framework for CTCN. It'll be conducted from this year to 2023. Okay. I think they here, at the last bullet point, you can see the technology readiness level we are considering in this strategic framework. So cRD&D involves multiple countries or regions jointly conducting or funding RD&D activities, spanning the technology life cycle from research TRL level 1 to demonstration TRL 7. Yeah, next slide, please. Okay, this slide shows proposed activity from this year till 2023. So it starts from the joint development of cRD&D project, and also it covers the funding part, and then project management, and then also the knowledge sharing and capacity building for 6 years activities. Yeah, next one, please. Yeah, actually, this as I explained in previous slides, now we are using the CTCN technical assistance modality to support cRD&D activities. So under this modality, you can consider that researchers and professors or research institute from public or private sector can be the proponent for the project request, and the ND will be the bridge builder, and then also the has the authority to submit the request proposal. And then also on the right side, CTCN network member as an implementing partner. So members of research institute or academia can be the potential implementing partner for those cRD&D activities. Yeah, next slide, please. Okay, finally, I'll introduce activities to be done, to be taken within this year, and then also activities to be taken next year. So the blue parts are like activities within remaining months in this year. You can see the webinar. There is the this webinar is led by a headquartered capacity building and network engagement team, Uzin and Tantan. And also we will have another steering group virtual meeting in November this year. And also we'll have a CIS&D forum in like first week of December in Brisbane, Australia. At that time, also we will try to get needs for cRD&D from participating NDs, and also like we are trying to get presentation from ND Australia regarding cRD&D activities or programs between Australia and then other Pacific countries. Oh, okay. So, and then next year, as I mentioned earlier, we will again will conduct global ND participation survey for the capacity in 3 modules. So module 3 is the cRD&D part. Also, already as we approved by advisory board in September meeting, we will also host learning visit on green hydrogen this year again, and then also cRD2B2 workshop on energy storage, and hopefully also learning visit on energy storage together. And also, yeah, we will complete Papua New Guinea and Bangladesh TAs, and then we'll explore the chances, opportunity for scale up for the large scale demonstration. And also we will implement Cote d'Ivoire and Uzbekistan cRD&D TAs, and then one potential TA can be Thailand for green hydrogen. And also based on the strategic framework, we'll try to organize kind of like brainstorming meetings. Yeah, and then actually, as I mentioned earlier, we are now exploring how to harmonize our country-driven approaches for CTCN, TA, and also the how to collect ideas or needs from researchers in developing countries, and how to accommodate those ideas through CTCN, TA modalities. Next one, please. Yeah, I think it's the last one. Okay, thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Suil, and thank you very much for your comprehensive presentation and staying late with us. So now we will hear from other colleagues from CTCN who will share more about some regional examples of the TAs CTCN did. So Ramiro and Molly, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Tantan. And yes, I will present in some of the specific cases that we did in CTCN in the framework of our technical assistance. First, the case of Jamaica to establish a climate change research and technological development agenda. As you may know, the main obstacle preventing the adoption of environmentally friendly technologies in Jamaica is costs. We have the case, for example, of energy generation, that this transition towards the use of renewable sources would be possible through progressive acquisition of technologies, but costs, also including those associated with its adaptation to the current distribution infrastructure and energy storage, makes it difficult to disseminate. So together with the country, we found the potential solution to strengthen this technological research and building a skill force to effectively use and operate new technologies. The definition of a research and technological development agenda, we thought to consider two fundamental things: improvement of technological development aimed at increasing energy efficiency, and also the expansion of both production and use of knowledge to address the climate change impact related issues. So in the framework of this technical assistance, we supported the design of a multidisciplinary research and technological development agenda that includes a number of activities to estimate the impact of climate change and adaptation measures, as well as research and technological development activities that are necessary to contribute to the expanded achievement of NDCs, in both in adaptation and mitigation. So we delivered this climate research agenda. As well, we did an analysis of research and technological development sectors priorities vis-a-vis country climate priorities, and namely NDCs, TNA, national adaptation plan, and other national strategies. So we can best describe a research agenda, in the case of Jamaica, as a formal plan of actions that summarize specific issues and ideas in a subset of any field or study. It is a guiding plan that helps to put together a system of study so that decisions can be made on what should be tackled now as prioritized and what should be deferred until another time. And during this TA, an effort was also made to identify and analyze existing capacities in universities, as they are a key ally, research centers, and also the private sector, whose lines of work relate and support priorities related to climate change, as well as the intervention needed to promote the development of technological capacities in these productive activities. So finally, we supported the consolidation of technological research and development capacities by developing a minimum critical mass of researchers, technicians that contribute to an adequate transfer and assimilation of the acquired technology, yet to achieve appropriate levels of use and operation. This is one example. And next slide, please. We have also the case in Colombia that was protecting communities, mangrove versus the growing climate threat. In this case, we did a work specifically in the municipality of Timbiquí, which is located in the department of El Cauca in Colombia, which is home of nearly 9,000 hectares of mangrove, representing nearly half of the mangroves in the department. And this coastal area is collectively owned by Afro-Colombian communities through community councils, which oversees almost 3,000 hectares of mangroves. Of course, these ecosystems are vital to local livelihoods, providing supporting activities such as fishing, shellfish gathering, coconut cultivation, while also providing materials like wood and pulp for domestic use. However, there are threats like illegal harvesting or coconut cultivation expansions and inadequate resource use practices are degrading these mangroves, exacerbating issues such as coastal erosion and ecosystem instability. And so in the framework of this technical assistance, we focused on developing restoration strategies that address underlying degradation processes, maintain ecosystem services critical to local livelihoods, and mitigate climate change through the avoided emissions. It was also established a community-based MRV, measurement, reporting, and verification system to measure the impact of mitigation activities and also explore opportunities in the carbon market. We have a video which will be very interesting for you. Yes, please, Tantan, play the video.
El viento se nos llevó la mitad de la casa y pues cuando ya salimos que esto y vimos que está la casa toda destapada, uno no sabe qué hacer. Los cambios climáticos vienen y nosotros no nos damos cuenta. Los manglares es la única protección que tenemos, no tenemos otra.
On Colombia's Pacific coast, mangroves are life. They shield homes from storms and sustain families through seafood harvesting. The mangroves store more carbon than most forests and are a home to 128 bird species. Yet in just 40 years, Colombia has lost 14% of its mangroves, nearly 50,000 hectares stripped away by deforestation, stronger storms, and unsustainable practices, leaving shores eroded, waves advancing, and people exposed.
Si no hay mangle por las partes, no hay pescado, no hay el camarón, no hay la piangua ni el cangrejo. Ahora como ya lo están tumbando, ya siempre no es lo mismo el manglar.
Mining wastes, farm chemicals, and illegal coconut plantations are choking the mangroves, threatening the fish and clams the communities depend on. For generations, women have harvested clams by hand, but now outsiders are disrupting this balance.
Tenemos una problemática que es la extracción de piangua, que la hacen con un petróleo que la piangua se ve obligada a salir, y eso está afectando nuestros manglares y todo nuestro ecosistema.
Esa es una de las amenazas que tenemos. Vea los motores cómo suenan. Ahí van agarrando el pescadito, van agarrando todo. Eso tiene castigo.
Here, in El Cuerval, a new tide is rising. Through a community-led project called Sustainable Cuerval, 2,700 hectares of mangroves are being protected. The community is restoring degraded areas, planting mangrove seedlings in bare soil, clearing invasive plants, and reopening channels so tidal waters return.
El proyecto nos está dando capacidad local instalada, que permite que la gente pueda hacer actividades de conservación independiente de que venga gente de afuera a ayudarnos a hacerlas. Eso es lo más importante.
Strengthened by drones, satellite mapping, and community monitoring, the technology reveals where mangroves thin, water stall, or harvesting weighs too heavily. This gives residents foresight to act and adapt while sustaining their livelihoods.
Los manglares nos dan la resistencia para afrontar todos estos cambios climáticos que se dan en nuestro territorio.
Nosotros estamos en una especie de recuperación de nuestro manglar, de nuestra vida, pues para allá, para nuestros renacientes.
Todos los árboles que están ahí al frente son manglares. Allá encontramos la piangua, encontramos...
Education is central. Youth are learning to harvest wisely, taking only mature clams, fishing in permitted waters, and catching larger fish. With resources managed fairly and families united, conflict over scarcity gives way to peace and cooperation. With the project Reshaping Community Life, women are leading the way.
Nuestras mujeres son muy tímidas y con el proyecto son más expresivas, y eso es muy importante, porque somos las que sostenemos la familia y el hogar y nuestro ecosistema.
From roots that anchor the soil and cradle fish to branches that shelter birds and families, the mangroves hold the coast and the communities together. By restoring them, the forest's resilience becomes their own.
Para nosotros el manglar es vida, es todo para nosotros el manglar. Por eso es que nosotros queremos proteger nuestro manglar.
Every fraction of a degree matters.
Thank you, Tantan, for the video. And finally, before I give the floor, thank you, and to my colleague Molly, I will present also another example in Belize for the development of an integrated and comprehensive national agroforestry policy. The potential of agroforestry to contribute to sustainable development has been well recognized in international policy meetings, also in our UNFCCC convention on climate change and biological diversity as well. However, agroforestry today continue facing challenges due to unfavorable policy incentives or inadequate knowledge dissemination. There are also legal constraints or in poor coordination among multiple sectors. So for that reason, together with the country, we designed this technical assistance with the aim to develop an integrated and comprehensive agroforestry policy with the aim to mainstreaming this form of land use countrywide, providing practical knowledge and skills to the national stakeholders. So this technical assistance provided practical knowledge skills to the team of the government of Belize to understand and test a successful process to develop a national agroforestry policy. And it collaborated with key national actors, assessing the current state of agroforestry countrywide, including data statistics, and also gather crucial information regarding the benefits and service provided by several agroforestry systems and promoting their diffusion to mainstream agroforestry. And so the development national policy was formulated on that baseline study, and this supporting the coordinated work of institutions related to agriculture, environment, and forestry through different activities such as sounding meetings or interviews, focus groups that were developed. And yes, it was also validated, and of course we done a consultation, workshops, and series of consultations through workshops, and also including farmers, of course, associations, private academic, non-governmental institution, until we got an agreement to publish this policy. And yes, thank you very much. I will pass the floor now to my colleague, Marley.
Thank you, Rami. Yes, so I think we've had a wonderful journey in luck. And so I will show some of the projects that are related to demonstration and, of course, to RD&D that have been done in Africa. And so to start, I will explain this project that we did in Nigeria on testing a hydroponic system in an area that's threatened by violence. So in the northern part of Nigeria, we know that the main economic activity, we have things like pastoralism, but also farming. And because of climate change, we have instances where the land that was previously arable is shrinking. At the same time, the land that can be used for grazing animals is also shrinking. And so there's a bit of tension between pastoralists and also between farmers. And because of this, it leads to conflicts and unrest. And at the same time, we have issues of terrorism. And so this technology, this hydroponic technology, has allowed for an alternative. Instead of the traditional ways of going to far land farms, the people are now able to actually practice hydroponic system. And this was done in Kaduna State and was funded through one of our flagship programs called the EC Climate Change and Security. So we have 60 farmers who've been trained on this new technology, and it has especially targeted and really empowered women in the area. I think in the next slide that Tantan will show, we'll have a video that will kind of explain what happened exactly. Tantan, let's go to the next slide.
Each time I cultivate, the crops are eaten up by the cattle. And each time I go, we fight. And I felt my life was endangered, so I stopped.
Farming is a way of life in northern Nigeria, but today the farmlands have become a battleground. Nigeria is getting hotter and drier, and the rains come late or not at all. This means farmers are losing crops, herders are losing grazing routes, and clashes over shrinking land are rising.
Lokacin da ake tunanin ruwa zai kai, to ruwan bai kai ba ya dauke, sai asara aka samu a gona. Yanayi gaskiya ne ba ƙarya bane, akwai shi.
Over 25 million Nigerians are at the risk of acute food insecurity. In Kaduna State alone, 77% of the population farm, but the soil is no longer a source of security. Now, a small solution is making a big difference. A solar-powered, soil-free hydroponic system is transforming how and where people grow food. In one greenhouse, up to 900 plants no longer wait for rain. They grow on multiple levels and vertical trellises, maximizing space. Nutrient-rich water flows through gravity-fed systems, allowing the roots to absorb only what they need, while the excess water is returned to the tanks. For the first time, lettuce is being grown locally alongside tomatoes, cucumbers, and bell peppers.
You can harvest lettuce close to about 9 to 10 times in a year. But in an open farming, you just do it twice in a year. Sometimes when you plant outside and there is maybe drought, you begin to look for water, but here there is nothing like drought because you control the temperature, you control the environment, you control the nutrients.
For women and girls who face constant threats of violence and rape out in the fields, this means more than farming. It's the right to grow food without fear.
Kafin lokacin da hydroponics ya zo, lokacin da muna noma a can da nesa, to lokacin ana samun matsaloli gaskiya. Akwai ainihin irin mutanen nan masu ɗaukan mutane, tunani yana jin tsoro. Amma yanzu zuwan hydroponics, to alhamdulillahi, ba mutum sai ya je can duniya ya je ya yi noma ba.
The greenhouse sits in town, so women no longer work for hours in vulnerable conditions, and less time in distant farmlands means more time in school. And now, they're even taking it home, bringing hydroponic farming into the safety of their own backyards.
Na zo na ɗan dasa tumatir ɗina gashi har na ga ya fara mun fure. To ai kaga mun samu ci gaba. Wannan ci gaban ba karamin abu ne a wurin mu ba. Zan gaya mata zan nuna mata yadda ake wannan hydroponics da yadda aka ba mu training. Me wannan nana? The lettuce.
Nutrients inside here, inside water, and put the seed with the foam here and this plant and plant it.
The hydroponic farming is going to increase the resilience of the woman farmer. With the insecurity we have in Nigeria, the small space she has within her home will enable her to produce a lot. So for me and for smallholder women farmers, it's a welcome idea.
Especially when the munje training dinner. So when muka dawo dinnan mun fara tomato ne wannan ko. Ka har mutane suna dubawa su ce maman hydroponics ya mutu suna kirana yanzu a zuci.
Mu yi shi mu inganta shi ya zamanto ya yi girma ana takama da mu, ko da a ce lokaci ne irin na dry season din nan, idan aka zo za a samu kayan marmari a lambunmu ko da koyaushe. daɗa expanded ɗin shi ya zamanto min kaman jari ne a rayuwana, fatan da muke yi kenan.
Hydroponic farming is empowering communities and especially women to grow more with less, cultivating resilience, self-reliance, and peace one harvest at a time.
Wannan hydroponics ba abin da zan ce mai sai dai abin farin ciki da kuma na al'umma.
Every fraction of a degree matters.
Thank you, Tantan. Yeah, that's very interesting. So, two other projects that we've had, and of course, one of them is very early stage. That is also speaking to feasibility towards RD&D. We have this new technology that is going to be tested for the very first time in the Gambia, and this is called phase change materials, solar-powered phase change materials for cooling. So this is going to be used to strengthen the resilience of Gambia's food system. So these phase change materials, they're able to absorb and release thermal energy depending on the temperature of their environment. And the project proponent has pitched this idea to the CTCN because they believe that this would be a more sustainable and of lesser cost compared to the traditional methods that are used for cooling right now. And if we think about the Gambia, currently 35% of their food go to waste. And so if you're already not producing enough and wasting 35%, that's a huge percentage. And of course, because of lack of, or let me say limited cooling infrastructure, this is a major contributor. So with this technology, by demonstrating and doing the research to see how PCM performs against other alternatives for cooling and trying to collect data, and then of course, in the end, doing a small pilot to demonstrate this technology will be something that Gambia will really benefit from. And then finally, another technology that is going to be tested to test basically the feasibility of it in 4 countries. Yes, we have in DRC, in Senegal, Guinea, and Togo is the agrivoltaic technology. So this is going to test how land can be used more efficiently. So for the multi-country agrivoltaic technology, this is already under implementation, while for the PCM technology, this is currently under bidding. And so for all our network members who have joined today, maybe you can keep an eye, and if you have experience in PCM technologies, when this is up for bidding, you can bid and be part of the team that will implement this. Thank you so much, Tantan. I hand it over back to you.
Thank you so much, colleagues Molly and Rami, for those great examples. And we'll now open the floor for questions and discussions. So everyone, please feel free to raise your hand if you have a question, or drop your question directly in the chat. And our colleagues from the CTCN are here to answer your question. So please. Looking at the chat, we don't have any questions there. Anyone who would like to ask a question directly? We have David. Hi, David. Please go ahead first. We have David Ojo. You can unmute yourself.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Thank you. I work for the Horticultural Research Institute here in Nigeria, Director of Research, and I'm interested in hydroponics in Nigeria, especially in Kaduna. I have a project on avocado there, I don't know how I can participate in CTCN. I was in Denmark CTCN conference sometimes, and this is another opportunity maybe to collaborate again.
Any of the colleagues would like to address?
Oh yes, I can take this as it's on hydroponics. So David, thank you for your input and for your interest in collaborating with the CTCN. Of course, as you know, the CTCN, we work in a demand-driven process. What this means is that we receive requests from countries, and these requests have to be endorsed by your national designated entity, focal point. And so for Nigeria, this is Mr. Chuk. I can share his contact details. So it has to be a request that, of course, is aligned with the national priorities of Nigeria, and this can be developed in full and then sent to the CTCN for screening. So as far as collaborating, we always welcome collaboration. You can, of course, channel this request through the NDE focal point of Nigeria.
Thank you. I'll be expecting the contacts.
Thanks, David, and thanks, Molly. Then we have a hand raised from Ruth. Please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Ruth. I work as a research fellow in an organization called African Center for Technology Studies in Kenya. I'm happy to be here, and I've listened to the two major presentations that have been done, especially on mangrove as well as hydroponics. My question on this, both of them have cited an issue when it comes to adoption of this technology. And I'm wondering, have you considered the aspect of capacity strengthening or communication to the community about what actually is climate change and why we need to do this adaptation or resilience measures? I'm asking this because I'm undertaking a study on science communication that has really brought to my attention that most of the research we do is very good, and we do research and we come up with very good solutions. However, the manner in which we communicate the results or the aspect or even the phenomena to the community is very much unpalatable. So we must use the communication channels, the communication methods, the communication language that the community is used to convey our research-based solutions to these existing problems. That is my question number one. Question number two, I'm also looking for collaboration in research because in ACTS we do climate resilience research. We also do gender, agriculture, and AI. So I'm asking for collaborations. Thank you, and back to you, Than.
Yes, thank you very much, Ruth. And indeed, I mean, the part of capacity building is very important. And in this case, for example, the case of mangroves TA in Colombia, there was also awareness raising campaign that was very much needed, as this ecosystem are very vital to local livelihoods, but they need to see the real benefits of expanding this procedure methodologies, and also how it contributes to the whole ecosystem sustainability. So yes, it was part that we did. We also did some capacity building activities. We provided also workshops, as this MRV system is a community-based MRV system, which has to be adopted and of course approved by the community. So for us, it was a very important and key part of the development of the activities, incorporating the group, the communities, in order for them to have a voice and for them their voice and their suggestions to be included within the strategies and the technologies that were suggested by the implementing partner. Yes, Sharon, if you want to complement for the case, Nigeria.
Yes, of course. Capacity building. So for this hydroponic technology, as it was a new technology being tested in this area, we had capacity building for 6 months. We had to train local beneficiaries to learn how they would uptake this. And when it comes to explaining what is climate change, we find that what is more important to local communities is addressing their immediate problem. So in the case of Kaduna State, or the people who are the main beneficiaries, these 60 farmers, what was the most important to them was the need to produce food in a safe way. And so because they were able to learn this new technology, even though the bigger goal is to adapt to the effects of climate change, the immediate goal that was met was being able to produce food still, despite the changes that have been done as a result of climate change. Thank you.
Thank you. Hope that answers your questions, Ruth. Then we have another hand raised from Oscar Malpica. Please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi, my name is Oscar Malpica. I'm the CEO of a company in Vancouver, Canada called Innovation Labs. We're part of the CTCN network. We are an R&D company for climate change mitigation. And so we've been part of CTCN for quite some time. So we're pretty aware of your TAs. However, your TAs are opportunities probably have 3 or 4 a year. That's what I've observed. We want to know the opposite, whether it would be us hosting IP that could be, or solution could be implementable. You list problems on this website, seeking for solutions. We have solutions seeking for problems, if that makes sense. R&D. So some of the innovations that we may have will be at mid TRL levels, so TRL 5, TRL 6, sometimes TRL 7. So there is definitely, those applications are ripe for collaboration to further maturing the technology and implementing them, where it's needed. So just wanted to ask, whether you have that type of scenarios where instead of just posting problems, you may be posting solutions, from providers like myself and team. Thanks.
Maybe I can just address it a bit from a general answer. So in terms of the TAs and how that works, as I mentioned, we are demand driven. So that is requested by the nations. However, you are also still able to post your solution on our website. So we have the options for all the network members. They have a member profile at the CTCN website where they can post their solutions. So this is where other and the public can see your solutions as well. And if you look for collaboration beyond that, then we can definitely discuss that further in terms of the engagement with our network and other different events that we could do. But this is how you can,
All right. So
share
I
your
was asking about that,
solutions.
like a more active way to do it, because if I post it, it's just passive and nobody really, but then I have to kind of raise my hand and engage with you. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Oscar. And then we have a hand raise also from Willis.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you so much. My name is Willis Ochieng. I'm the Executive Director for CRITS International. I know it's been a lot of sacrifice, especially for someone like Mr. Suhail, who I'm made to understand it's midnight. So I thank you for the wonderful presentation. I wanted to piggyback on what Ruth asked. A lot of interventions we see are actually meant to transform communities, and some of the things, like I've seen the video that Sharon shared, was really incredible. But when you talk about the sustainability, because you realize that the cultural nuances are usually not very much considered into the in the design of these projects. And beyond that, also looking at the financial aspect, which is usually one of the challenges in terms of the adoption of technologies. So I'm just curious, how do you really look at the cultural nuances? And the second part, how do you make sure that you are addressing the financial aspect that is an interest to a lot of young people or even women to adopting these technologies, both in the short term and the long term? Thank you so much.
Molly or
Tantan,
Ramani?
yes, I was waiting for your cue. So to begin with, for the cultural aspect, the cultural nuances, one important step that we have when we are working on CTCN technical assistance is the response plan development. So we receive the request, which is the problem that the country presents. Sometimes they know the exact technology that they have in mind that would solve. Sometimes they just know the problem and that's it. And then we work together to actually develop what we call the response plan. And this response plan is what addresses how the problem is solved, and it acts like a terms of reference. So in this, we define a set of activities that will help us achieve the objective of the technical assistance. One of the activities that is usually very important is maybe to analyze how the technology would be received or how it would affect the social or the cultural aspect in the society. Another important tool that we use on our end for this is usually the social and environmental safeguard questionnaire that we have to complete before any technical assistance. This will help us understand whether this technology solution is maybe bringing short-term benefits but long-term problems to the community, or it is actually a technology that will have long-term benefits. So that is how we usually approach the issue of cultural nuances. And then when it comes to the financial sustainability, I will explain really that CTCN support works best when it is used as a seed for a bigger plan. So once we implement our technical assistances, there has to be an enabling environment that has been created that will allow for follow-up or for national uptake. So it has to be in a way that, okay, either this pilot demonstrated for us that this hydroponic systems is a solution to the issue in Kaduna, and then what will follow is either a full proposal that can be through the financial mechanism that is through the GCF or through adaptation fund or different programs that do bigger scale projects, or having this line budget within the ministries that are requesting for CTCN support. Do we have 100% success rate when it comes to this type of things? It is hard to say because the situation is different from country to country. Yeah, so I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, Molly, thank you very much. I think you said it very correctly that, I mean, this starts from the design when we develop this response plan or terms of reference, and we do it together with the focal point, the NDE, as well as the proponent or the applicant organization. So this involves a lot of consultations, validations, and feedback from them, which we make sure that the cultural aspect and the community aspects are incorporated, as we also need to report on them. And on the financial side, yes, as Molly said, CTCN is kind of a matchmaking. Once the TA deliverables have been accomplished, we would like for them to be scale up and replicated. And for this, of course, and technology deployment, what is really needed is finance. And for this, we support countries to access this additional funding, as Molly said, Jeff, GCF, or adaptation plans, and by the preparation of concept notes. And of course, we are an accredited entity for them. for this financial mechanism, and we serve as part of the scope of our TA service to include the development of these concept nodes. Thank you.
Thank you, Rami and Molly. Will is also asked in the chat, how do you identify the ND country representatives? Would you also like to address that quickly before we move on to other people?
Rami, do you wanna take that? Okay.
Yes,
So
it is actually the UNFCCC focal point from the country that has to inform to the convention which entity or which dependency of which ministry will act as a CTCN focal point. So it's like the official procedure. Molly, if you want to complement.
No. I mean, it's the national focal point, as you said, is elected by is usually nominated, I mean, by the country. And of course, the country informs their UNFCCC national focal point, and this is the person who actually writes to the CTCN to let us know who. So it's by the country.
Great. Thank you so much, Molly and Rami. We have 3 more hands up, and we have the last 5 minutes and also some questions in the chat. So we'll take it one by one. So Bill, please, you can quickly introduce yourself and ask your question.
Hi, my name is Bill Wright. I'm with the Enterprise Neurosystem, and it's great to see everybody today. And just wanted to mention that we do have a bank of volunteers that do AI development and programming. So I heard some of the folks earlier who were interested in doing this kind of research. We would be happy to help you. We're a nonprofit. We do it free of charge. So please feel free to reach out if there's any needs there. My question, though, is actually about more cutting edge research and things like artificial intelligence, creating networks for nations to basically monitor a variety of different climate indicators. Are there any plans to fund this kind of specific research from a climate change perspective, and to do so in more of a broad manner as opposed to a point project manner to basically kind of move the state of the art forward? And I've always thought the CTCN would be a fantastic place to synergize some of those efforts.
Feel free to
And I guess
answer
that would be
one
my
or
question. More general research. That would be my question.
Thank you, Bill. Please, colleagues, go ahead.
Yeah. So as far as whether there is interest, I will go back to what we already said earlier about the process being country driven, and we have to receive requests in whatever nature from our countries. Of course, we also do capacity building, because sometimes there is need, but the country is not very aware of some technologies that can actually solve some of the problems that are in the countries. So I think opportunities like this webinar or some that we can organize in the future by our network members, like Bill, for instance, you can come in and maybe explain this. And when we have our NDEs listening and understanding how this fits directly to their national priorities, it can also spark conversations about, let's say, let's work on a technical assistance that will actually solve specific problems. So it has to be a request from the country, but we can also help our countries and matchmake for them to understand what solutions are out there.
We also have Ariesta here who
Exactly.
would be happy to address your question, Bill.
Hi, Bill. It's good to see you here. And good morning.
Good to see you. Good to see you too.
It's a very intriguing questions, and of course, like happy Molly has already mentioned, like our current. This is what we're doing right now because of this is what we've been asked by parties to do that, and I agree with you that the CTCN has also potential actually to perhaps with the not at the point with our current functions, but I also see some of countries as actually are represented here to do more in terms of the cutting edge research. Happy to take it forward perhaps in a separate conversations. At the moment, collaborative RD&D is the one that we are doing as per the function and the mandates by parties, as well as to support the Paris Agreement. But yes, that is a very interesting angle of the kind of function that the CTCN should do, especially with our interface with the government and then our work on the national system of innovation. I think this is really key elements that could be built in that. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you. Great to see you too.
Thank you,
Yes,
Arias, and thank you, Bill, for your question.
Maybe
Yeah, Rami?
just to complement that, actually we are receiving also some ideas, project ideas from countries, like for example in Dominican Republic, working on AI systems for the resilience of agroforestry systems or agricultural activities. We also have been working a lot on early warning system and now incorporating AI as well. And also for crop irrigation technology. So as you know, AI has many applications, but countries are already thinking about how they can use CTCN as a key partner for technology transfer in this field too.
Thank you, Rami. Jakob? Jakob Orly?
Yes, hello. Hello, everyone. Yes, my name is Orly Jacob, and I am the Canadian representative on the advisory board as well. I am Canada's NDE. Really glad to be here to listen to everyone. First, I'd just like to refer to Bill's intervention comment just before, and would like to thank Bill again for all the effort that him and his organization do with the CTCN and the offer to continually provide support, pro bono support. It's really wonderful. So just going to my question is, as Ariesta had mentioned, there's a lot that's coming up in terms of parties' requests and what parties would like to see the CTCN do. And for those of you who have maybe listened to some advisory board meetings, you may know that some of us really do encourage the multi-country approach very much. And I did note one multi-country project that's coming up soon, which seems very interesting. I believe something to do with agrophotovoltaic. Sorry if I didn't get the technical term right. So two reasons I'm raising this is, one, just to bring everybody's attention to this multi-country approach, because I think it would be great for NDEs to realize, to know that you can be part of a multi-country approach. But also my question on this particular project, or any multi-country project, just to know a little bit about how you may tailor the project to meet the different needs of the countries, even though they are in one project. Perhaps there's ways to reassure countries that their specific needs would be taken care of despite being bundled in one project. I realize there's not much time left, so if you don't have time to answer my question, that's okay. I just wanted to bring attention to this. Thank you.
Thank you, Orly. Anyone would like to address that as well?
Yes, thank you very much, Orly, for the question. And indeed, we have in the past some of multi-country TAs, of course, in the LAC region, but also the one that you mentioned on agrivoltaics. The recent in the LAC region, for example, is one on agrometeorological platform for multi-country benefits, and also we are as a project idea working on the deployment digital building passport also for specific countries that are working in the building sector. And multi-country TA is agreed, the scope or the terms of reference response plan is agreed with each country, but of course it is very important to have national consultants working in situ, as there may be some specific tasks or activities that are tailored for the country, but the main scope or objective of the TA maintains the same for everyone. If there are some difference within the activities on each country, this can be done, but in general, it is within the same scope. And as I said, having national consultants working in the country is key in order to achieve the results that we aim. Molly, you want? Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, in the case, as you have said, Rami, of course, it goes back to the design stage, which is the response plan. So at this stage, we work with each country to understand how it looks like, their landscape, and how their needs are different from different countries. So it's taken care of in a way that, even though the goal is the same, for example, with the agrivoltaic systems, it's just to test whether this is feasible in these 4 countries. And so looking at the environmental conditions, different climates, taking care of this, but at the same time, making sure that, of course, they have different cultures. How will this be navigated? So in the design stage, this has to be taken care of per country. And then, of course, during implementation, as Rami said, we have to work with national, local consultants, national consultants from each country, even though maybe the international consultant will be one firm.
Thank you so much, Molly and Rami and Orly, for your question. As we are going to the end of the time we scheduled, I'm just going to read last 2 questions that we have in the chat. So we have a question from Sadiq Gulma. Thank you. What opportunities are there for deeper learning, virtual visits, field visit, etc., from these amazing examples, especially for the IPs in other countries? Molly or Rami? Or Suil, perhaps?
I think this is for Suil, because it's learning visit.
Yes. Suil, do we have you here? Hi. Did you hear the question?
Yeah, actually, okay. So, like, okay, as I mentioned in the slide, again, next year we will again also do ND participant survey, and also like always we like encourage like NDs to nominate specific researcher or organization which really like appropriate or fit to those specific topics of the learning visit and CRD to be to workshops. So yeah, I think that such communication or connection with ND could be one good opportunity for network members also. Yeah. I don't know whether it is like a appropriate answer to the
Thank you,
question.
Cyril. Yeah, I would like to also clarify that the learning visits that we have at the moment are for the NDEs, but we do plan to have more network engagement opportunities next year that we will share with all the network members where they can participate more. So more to come on that. Then one more question before we go to closing remarks. From Karen from D4D Insights, our network member. In which of the work areas mentioned, especially for the future, do you think there could be more scope for data-related projects, particularly data sharing platforms and establishing measures to monitor agendas, including the SDGs? Who would like to take this question?
Tantan, could you show me this question? Because
if you go to the chat,
yes,
and then you scroll up, there's a comment from Karen.
Karen
from D4D
Yes.
Insights.
Okay. Data related projects. So, okay. I think I'm now becoming a broken record because I'm going to say the same answer I've used previously. So data related projects, particularly data sharing platforms and establishing measures to monitor agendas, including the SDGs. So first of all, going back to the mandate of CTCN, which is Climate Technology Center Network, Climate Technology Transfer, at the request of developing countries. So that's the main work that we do, and this is coming from countries. So if we receive a request from a country and it is screened against our prioritization criteria, and this is found eligible, of course, it will be implemented by the CTCN. So this is definitely dependent mostly on the demand from our countries. So if there is demand for this type of support, it will be taken up by the CTCN.
Thank you so much, Molly. I think with that, we will close our live Q&A and go to the last segment of today, which is the closing remarks from Stephen. Today, since it's late for Stephen, we have a pre-recorded video. So let me just play that recorded remarks.
Good morning, afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you to all participants for joining today's webinar and for contributing to this insightful discussion. I would like to extend special appreciation to the CTCN team and to all the presenters for preparing and delivering today's session. I also want to thank each and every one of you for your active participation, questions and reflections that have made the discussion richer and more meaningful. Through this webinar, we explored the concept and strategic vision of collaborative research, development, and demonstration within the CTCN framework. We learned from practical examples of CTCN's collaborative RD&D technical assistance projects over the past 2 years, such as ocean energy in Papua New Guinea, solar-powered cold storage in Bangladesh, biochar production in Côte d'Ivoire, and desalination technologies in Uzbekistan. Furthermore, we heard about learning visits and workshops on topics such as green hydrogen and energy storage, and how these activities can help countries to design, adapt, and scale up innovative solutions. All of these initiatives demonstrate how innovation can address local needs while contributing to global climate goals. They show that when communities, researchers, and policymakers work together, we not only strengthen national capacities, but also build collective progress toward a more sustainable and a more resilient world. The discussion we have had today strongly reflects one thing. Collaborative RD&D is about more than transferring technology. It is about working together from research to demonstration and ensuring that developing countries are co-creators of innovation, which means, of course, co-creators of their own future. Thank you once again for your time, your ideas, and your continued commitment. I look forward to seeing these discussions grow into new partnerships and practical actions in the future. Thank you once again.
Great. So with that, and on behalf of the CT Secretariat, thank you everyone. And thank you to our speakers also for the insightful presentation and everyone who joined us today from around the world. We appreciate the time and engagement and the thoughtful questions shared during the discussion. And we look forward to staying connected through the network and our future activities. And with that, I'm concluding today's webinar. And again, thank you and have a wonderful day or evening wherever you are. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.